In this video, I'm going to share with you 9 tips that I personally use to make a little bit of extra money selling computers on Facebook Marketplace. And you want to stay tuned in because the last tip is the most important and it applies to anything that you're trying to sell on Facebook Marketplace. Now, if you are new here, I run a series called the Build Up Challenge, where I find used computers or used computer hardware, and I piece all of that together to come up with something that looks a little bit like this, and I go ahead and I sell it for profit. But the beauty of the Build Up Challenge is that all the profits are being saved to build a over $3,000 computer that I'm just gonna give away to one of you guys. And since we are almost done with season 1 of the challenge, I figured I would share some tips that have helped me be successful in selling these computers and putting a little extra jingle in my pocket. Well, your pocket, since I don't get to keep any of this money. Now, just because I sell computers, that doesn't mean that you can't apply some of these tactics to anything else that you are trying to make money from, because I'm just trying to set you guys up for success and make a little extra money. And we could all use a little extra money these days. Now, this tip may seem a little obvious, but you would be shocked at how many times I stumble into a listing and the computer parts or the whole computer itself are completely disgusting. Now, it doesn't matter if you know that those parts have a high value. What you need to do is prove that value to a potential buyer. And I'm gonna tell you right now that if I see a listing that is dirty, I am always going to offer a low amount of money for it. What you need to do is invest the time it takes to make sure that everything you're selling is 100% clean. Nobody wants to spend their hard-earned money on something just to get home and have somebody's cat hair go flying out the rear exhaust, or those fans kick on and the air that hits you smells like nasty gym socks. I have always spent a decent amount of time making sure that every item inside of my computers are 100% clean, and I have seen a larger return because of it. This is another one that seems obvious, but I'm always surprised at how many people title their listing Gaming PC or Budget PC or my personal favorite Starter or Entry Level Gaming PC. By a show of hands, how many of you had a dream car that was a Honda Civic? That's right, none of you, because we all dream about Lambos and Ferraris. So why would you word your title to intentionally make buyers feel like they're buying a Civic rather than a Lambo? Now, I am not telling you to overhype that Dell Optiplex case swap that you did, but what I am saying is that this is part of that first impression that a buyer has on your item. So use descriptive words like awesome or beautiful. Those words will help catch your eye and help you grab a few more clicks on your listing. Tubular, bodacious, excelente. Giving you some ideas. Never, and I mean never, put the words OBO or make me an offer anywhere in your listing. Saying OBO invites the idea that you are willing to accept less than your asking price. And if you're having the customer make you an offer, you're putting them in control of negotiations. This is your item. You control how much it's worth. So for instance, let's say you just finished a brand new PC build and the cost to build that PC was only $400 and you think that you can get $600 for it. Well, you don't post it for $600, you post it for $660 or $640. And if somebody comes along and tries to negotiate you down and offers, say, $580 for it, you can decline that offer and say, I'd be willing to accept $600. And if he accepts, then you just made exactly what you wanted to make for the PC, and that's a $200 profit. But if you price it higher, you also invite the people who don't want to negotiate with you, and they will just pay that $660 or $640 for your build, in which case, that's just bonus money. And I have sold a ton of computers to people who did not negotiate at all. Now, once you have somebody who has clicked on your listing, we need to keep them around with your description. And it's important to understand the difference between not giving enough information and giving way too much. What I mean by that is the general consumer who wants to buy a gaming PC doesn't need to know how many SATA ports there are on the motherboard. They just need to know which motherboard it is. And on the flip side, if your listing just says, I don't know anything about it, I got it from a friend, well, good luck getting anyone to spend money on a gamble, because for all we know, there's a Pentium processor in that thing and there's a waste of money. So how I word my descriptions usually follows the same pattern. I will give 1 or 2 sentences hyping up the PC, followed by a list of each piece of hardware that is inside of the computer, followed by the average frame rates that the PC can get in a few popular games, followed by a closing statement, something like "this will look great on your desk," or "don't ask your wife, just buy it." Then state your payment methods that you prefer and always thank them for visiting your listing. This tip kind of ties in with tip number 4 because it has to do with that second part of your description, where you list all of the hardware that is inside of the computer. Now, something that I have found that has helped me is to make sure that the first piece of hardware listed in that description is the most powerful piece of hardware inside of the computer that I'm trying to sell. The reason I do that is because when a buyer who knows what he's looking at comes to my listing and sees that I have a 6700 XT graphics card inside of the computer, he's gonna be less bothered if some of the other parts down that list aren't quite as powerful. Facebook Marketplace is a popularity contest for items, meaning if you post something for sale and it doesn't capture a lot of attention, Facebook actually pushes your item down the list, making it less visible to potential buyers. Now, you may think that you have a pot of gold for sale at a discounted price, but if your listing does not capture enough attention right from the beginning, you may see a decline in clicks, or it could flatline altogether. Something that I found that helped improve listings that don't get a lot of attention is to delete the entire listing altogether and then re-uploading that exact same listing at a different time of the day. I have seen some listings go from 4 days online and only a handful of clicks to being online for only 24 hours and getting over 100 clicks simply by Control-Alt-Deleting. So I know it sounds obvious, but location matters so much, and lucky for us, we can change the location of where we are trying to sell the item. Now, me personally, I live in a small town in Florida with a very small population, so if I were to try and sell computers here, I'm catering to a very small audience, but lucky for me, I live 20 to 25 minutes away from Daytona and Port Orange, which are much larger cities. So what I do is I go ahead and list my items for sale closer to those bigger cities so that they can get more attention. If you want to go ahead and change the location, you can do that when you go to post your item, or you can just click edit afterwards and you can go ahead and switch where you want your item to be posted at. Never underestimate the power of RGB. Now, you can love it or you can hate it to death, but there is no denying that RGB is the king of selling computers online. You could realistically buy a $400 PC, then spend $30 on RGB fans, and post that exact same computer online for $460 and make $30. It's sad, but it's true. And our last tip here today applies to anything that you are going to try and sell online. Pictures are your bread and butter. If you are not willing to invest the time to make quality photos of what you're trying to sell, then don't get offended if you get offered low quality money. So here are a few tips on how to take your photos and maximize the attention that your item gets. Make sure that your camera lens is clean. If you have smudges on your lens, it's going to make the photograph look hazy, and any RGB that you do have in the computer is gonna look fuzzy or streaky. Make sure you take your photographs in a well-lit room with a clean backdrop. Nobody wants to see your dirty underwear laying on the floor next to your computer. Get your PC off of the floor. Anybody who knows anything about computers knows that having your PC on the floor leads to an increase of dust buildup, especially if you have pets. Now, the person buying the computer doesn't know that that's not where that computer has lived its entire life, and it could hurt your chances at a potential sale. Plus, it looks unprofessional. You're trying to make money. Look professional. Make sure you take your photos with the side panel off. I'm gonna repeat that. Take the side panel off, even if it's glass. That tempered glass causes a glare that makes photographs look terrible. And if you are somebody who's selling a computer that doesn't have a glass side panel, you need to still remove the side panel so that we can see inside of the computer. They're not buying the box. They're buying what's in the box. Now make sure those high quality photos are of the front, the back, and the side panel that allows you to see inside of the hardware. Stop taking pictures of the back of the case. Nobody cares. They all look exactly the same. Now, while you're taking your photos, be sure and try and minimize the amount of cables you see, like the power cable, the mouse, and the keyboard wires. You want the focus to be on how good looking the computer is, and you want the buyer to imagine what it's going to look like in their setup. And for the love of all that is good in this world, please stop taking photos of your computer with the lights off to show off your RGB. I can promise you we can tell that your computer has RGB with the room lights still on. Turning off all of the lights to show us your fans just shows me a dark picture with floating lights, and I can watch Tangled if I want to see floating lights. Now, if you implement these tips, I am positive that you will see an increase in activity on your listings, which will hopefully lead to you getting a bigger payday. Now, if you guys have any tips and tricks that I didn't cover in this video, please feel free to list them in the comment section down below. I am a forever student and I love learning new tactics, and I'm sure it would also help some other people with selling their computers. Also, at the beginning of this video, I did say that we are going to be building a over $3,000 computer that one lucky subscriber will have the opportunity to win. And if you want a piece of that action, all you gotta do is become an active member in my Discord server. I will leave a link to join that server in the description down below. And if you are somebody who is interested in flipping computers but you haven't gotten started yet, I encourage you to check out the PC Build Up Challenge playlist, where I flip a brand new computer every week for your entertainment. It is full of different builds and different hardware that I use for you to draw inspiration to begin your journey. And if you found this video to be helpful in any way, please consider hitting the like and subscribe button. Not only do we build computers pretty much every week, but I give some of them away too. But I do need to get back to building this week's computer, so no matter where you are in the world, I hope that you are having a fantastic day. And I'm gonna see you in the next video.